So hi and welcome everyone, welcome back. In this section, we are gonna talk about networking devices. As you can see, when you want to build a network or connect your PC or mobile phone to a network, you need some devices. Usually you need end devices, which is your mobile phone or PC or tablet or whatever. And you need some other devices related to the network to make the connections possible. So we have different types of devices. We have modems, we have network interface cards, which are inside your PCs or inside your mobile phone. We have repeaters, we have hubs, we have switches, routers, bridges, gateways. All these are network devices that we use them in order to build a network and make your connection to the internet successful. But the most important three devices among these, or the ones we will talk about, like we will talk about routers, switches, and hubs. What they do, their advantages, disadvantages, and the differences between them. So in real life, these are the shapes of these devices, example from different brands. Hubs can look like this, switches you are familiar, I believe you have seen them somewhere. Routers, bridges, gateways, repeaters, network interface card. In the old system, in the old PCs, this is how network interface card looks like. But nowadays they are much smaller and you cannot even see them. They are integrated inside. For example, the people who want to work on Node MCU in their projects, you will see that Node MCU size is like this. The size of Node. Inside this microcontroller, there is network interface card for Wi-Fi. It's embedded inside the microcontroller. You don't need to buy it as a separate module. So these are the main network devices. Let's start talking about hubs. So what's hubs? Hub, as known as network hub, it's layer 1 device. It works at the physical layer. It's dumb device, not smart at all. Hubs work at the physical layer of the OSI model, used to set up a LAN, connect several computers with each other and let them share information and talk to each other. It has multiple ports and has a star topology. This is what hub is. When a packet arrives at one port, the hub works like this. This is how it works if somebody asks you. When a packet arrives at one port, it just broadcasts it to all the other ports, accessible by all the other computers connected to the LAN. When a packet arrives at one port, it's copied to the other ports so that all segments of the LAN can see all packets. This is the functionality of the hub. This is what does a hub do. So the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of using hub is first cheaper than switches and works good for small networks. But on the other hand, it has some disadvantages like issues with broadcasting, issues with having no memory, no memory and no intelligence. It's dummy, just receives the packet, broadcasts it to all the other ports. And normally it runs in a half duplex mode. What half duplex means? Means it can transmit or receive at a time. It cannot receive and it transmits simultaneously. Switch. Now we have talked about hubs. Let's talk about switches. Switch, what's a switch? A switch is a networking hardware that connects devices on a computer network to establish a local area network. Connects devices on a computer network to establish a local area network. Unlike hubs, switches have memory and have intelligence. It stores MAC address table and it's a layer 2 device for setting up LAN. Now let's compare hubs with switches. Hub, at which layer it works? It works at layer 1. That's why we call it layer 1 device. Switch works at layer 2 device. Hub works at the physical layer. A switch works at the data link layer. Hub has no memory and no intelligence. Switch has memory and stores MAC address table. Hub floods the network due to broadcasting. It causes jamming, congested network. interference. Why? Because it keeps flooding the network to in all directions. Switch can do unicasting, multicasting, and broadcasting. So a switch has some intelligence that enables it to just dedicate the message to be transmitted to certain number of computers, or one computer, or a group of computers, or to all the other computers. In hub, security risks are high, but in switch, because it has some intelligence and smartness, that's why security risks are low. Hub is less efficient, switch is more efficient in using the resources. Hub works in half duplex mode, while switch works in full duplex mode. This is what switch is. Now routers. What's router and what does it do? A router is a networking device that forwards data packets between computer networks. A router is connected to at least two networks, commonly either two LANs with each other connected. You cannot connect them directly, you have to connect them via router, or two WANs, wide area network, or one WAN with one LAN, or one LAN and in its internet service provider network. It's a layer 3 device because it works at the network layer. What are the differences between switches and routers? A network switch is a computer networking device that's used to connect many devices together on a computer network. While a router is a networking device that connects a local network to other local networks. So router connects networks together, while switch connects nodes within one network together. Switch operates at the data link layer 2 device. A router operates at network layer, which is layer 3 device. Switch has memory and stores MAC address table, and also router has memory and stores routing table. So, but router stores IP tables. Switch stores what? MAC addresses. In switches, decisions are taken based on MAC address, but in routers, decisions are taken based on IP address. Switch half full duplex, router full duplex. Switch works within LANs, while routers work in connecting LANs with each other, MANs, WANs, mobile area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network, and others. So these are the key 3 networking devices that you will always encounter if you want to build a computer network, and the differences between these devices and how they work. I think it's simple, easy, straightforward. From now on, we will be using a software for simulating our networks called Cisco Packet Tracer. So Cisco Packet Tracer enables you to test your connection setup. Basically, instead of setting up a network inside the lab, here it's a simulation environment. You can bring computers, PCs, routers, switches, and click on them to enter their details and program them. So it's kind of an easy tool to understand how computer networks work. So I would kindly ask all of you to download this program. Just search on Cisco Packet Tracer and start familiarize yourself with it before next lecture, because we will talk about it next lecture. Oh, what's Cisco? Cisco is a networking company like Juniper. There are 2 big networking companies in the world, Cisco and Juniper. They are always competing with each other. Everybody wants to sell his devices. If you are an expert in Juniper devices, it doesn't mean that you are going to be an expert in Cisco devices, because they have different rules, different protocols. They have the internet is same, but the devices rules are different. That's why you need to get some education before you start. If you want to switch from Juniper to Cisco or Cisco to Juniper, you need to get some pre-education in order to be able to start deploying networks using these devices. But Cisco was more successful than Juniper in promoting their devices and letting most of the world use them. And Cisco even was one of the first companies to build WebEx, a a video communication tool like Microsoft Teams right now, or like Zoom. Unfortunately, that WebEx was not so successful. There was an employee working there who suggested some solution. The company refused these solutions. The employee quit the company and then went and opened his own company called Zoom. And Zoom became one of the most successful video applications in the world, especially in the duration of pandemic. He was a Cisco employee working on WebEx app, but he suggested some things. He believed that this product should be done like this. They didn't appreciate it. They didn't appreciate his suggestions. He was frustrated. He knew that he can do much better than this. He quit out of the company, built his own company in 2014, and in 2019, 2020, boom, the pandemic started, and within just 1 month, from a few millions to 200 million users using Zoom. So Zoom was enabled by these networking devices. Without these networking devices and people who are expert in voice communication, it would not be possible. And then everybody started copying, pasting these companies like Microsoft Teams and others. They are all, and even Google was too late on this game. Like Google, when the pandemic hit, we wanted to use a video communication. We didn't have any product from Google, did we? We didn't, until in the middle of the pandemic, Google started launching Google Meets, yes, in your Gmail, but it was too late. Everybody now is used to use Microsoft Teams, Skype, and Zoom, and other apps. So this simulation tool is an innovative and powerful networking simulation tool used for practice, discovery, and troubleshooting, and get some experience on setting up networks. And basically, it helps you understand networks. So these are the things. So I expect everybody to download this packet tracer on his PC and start to play with it, so that he knows how to start using these devices and import them. And I will teach you in the coming lectures how to use it to build simple networks, and how to configure the devices, and how to check if they are really connected well or not.